All right. Welcome into another episode of the Nap Bros podcast, bringing it to you live after the Super Bowl. Not that that really matters because most of the people who are probably listening. Oh,
Is
no,
it
no, no.
live?
I mean, is it? What do you mean, is it live?
It's not. I mean, it's live right now, but it's not going to be live when you
Oh,
post it.
that's a valid point because it'll be on Monday. So,
Just forget that. Forget what he said. Live,
okay,
live is a.
yeah.
Clearly, my brother does not
So,
know what it
so,
means to be
so
live.
not directly after the Super Bowl when this podcast gets put out there, so I do apologize for that. We're recording a good week ahead of time, just that way there's time to edit and whatnot. Anyway, we are. I'm Nick. He's Andrew. We are inviting you back into a continued conversation about sovereignty, the battle for the hearts and minds of men, brought to you by Ryan Mickler. And today we are talking about Chapter 12, Strength. So, with that, Andrew, would you like to give the summary, the breakdown, or do you want me to go ahead and do it?
Well, I mean, I'll summarize it because I feel
Get
like
it.
I'm more of a summary type of person. I'm trying to get
Sure.
this lighting right, like where it doesn't flash a whole lot. Like if I just, there you go, not flashing. In this chapter, he talks about strength, how men grew up in the olden days, and strength was a common theme for men. Like to be strong, to be the man was to be strong. And now we're like society's just, I don't know how to put it so lightly, but I would say wean the man of being a strong symbol. That being
Wait.
said,
Say that again. Well,
weaned,
wean the.
weaned, yes. Yeah, weaned, yeah, like broken it off. Like you,
Okay.
man and strong is not the same thing anymore.
Okay.
Man's in touch with his emotions now, or something like that.
Okay. All right.
Let's not focus on Andrew's words here. Andrew's not an English teacher. But the problem now is like, we don't need all the attributes of being a man that we used to. You don't need to provide as much anymore. You don't need to be ready to fight an enemy. You don't need to have, you know, uh, rough, tough men. So what do we need? Who knows? That's the question. What is a man's purpose now? If not all these things that used to be the purpose before. So, and if the biggest fulcrum or the biggest point would be its strength. If a man's not strong physically, emotionally, then what is he? Is he a mental fortitude? Is he just there just to be there? That was my summed up version of it.
Okay.
Apparently, my brother did not agree with weaning.
No, well, it was more so like it was just kind of a weird way to say it in my mind. Hey, give me a second. Let me pause this real quick. I gotta go get notepad real quick. So, the basic three principles that Mickler looks at in this idea of strength is physical strength, obviously, but also mental fortitude and emotional resiliency. Physical strength is the last thing that he brings up because obviously that's kind of like generally I think that's how people look at men anyway, is a beacon of physical strength generally. That at least that's the mindset. But I think that's why he brings it up later, as opposed to like one of the first things that he brings up. And so with that, basically, he presents this idea of there are going to be issues that come up in your life. There are going to be challenges as men. There are going to be issues and challenges that come up that are either going to require mental fortitude or emotional resiliency or physical strength or all three of them or a mixture of them throughout whatever's going on. And that this idea of getting back to the point of being strong in those three areas is what we have to do as men. So with that, like he brings up this idea of like bankruptcy, divorce, layoffs, disease, disabilities, and the list could go on and on about what, even now, some of the heavy burdens are COVID, whether like government challenges or government issues that we have with our government, um, the economy as a whole, potential lockdowns, potential I don't, like so even social media or things on the internet of like being able to handle a barrage of not just misinformation but also a barrage of you could call them trolls. That's not really a term that I use very often, but trolls or haters or those types of things, and being able to stand up to that.
Plus, not to mention, like he also brings up like this whole idea of like an alpha male thing, where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't know how to describe it. Like uh, someone that's physique is real muscular and he's a built, strong, tall man, and it's like, that's like the alpha male. But at the same time, like someone like that could just not even have the mentality or the emotional fortitude to like withstand even the simple barrage of you know issues that everyday life throw against you. And it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I think physique is an important thing. I'm not saying it's not, but at the same time, I'm not saying it's the only thing that like society seems to deem it is.
Well, I
You
think
know,
I think the other idea too behind the alpha male, and it's been so I feel like it's been so corrupted in that if you're like the alpha male is basically a user of people, whether it's workers, employees, women, just whatever, and that it's kind of like in order to be the alpha male, like you've got to use these people for your own advantage to get your own like to get your own way or to get your own ideals and your own thoughts. And so I think that was I think he's already like before in previous chapters he's already kind of like negated that as far as like your purpose in life, your idea is to provide, and the only way and one of those like to be able to provide means you actually need to care about other people and actually be trying to make things better for them. But in our current society, the alpha male is the person who doesn't listen to his wife or his girlfriend, doesn't listen to other people's ideas, but takes not taking charge, but dominates and controls and manipulates in order to get his own way. And so, it's I don't know. It's just bad as a whole. There's no room for being kind. There's no room for other people in that. But I'm going off on a tangent on the alpha male.
yeah,
I don't
man,
want to.
just a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit, just a little bit.
So anyway, so let's delve into this idea of mental fortitude and even emotional resiliency to an extent. And so, well, for Mickler, one of the things he brings up is that the world as a whole has gone soft, and he sees it predominantly in youth sports, in sports for young boys, um, boys and girls, but especially boys, where wanting to figure out and wanting to see how well did we do. There's no scoring, or everybody gets a participation trophy, and like that's
Which I
not.
remember growing up myself, like we always got participation trophies. I mean, or like it wasn't a trophy, it was like a ribbon. Like if I remember, we got like a little ribbon, and it's like, but like even my kids, so the younger t-ball and initial coaches pitch, they don't keep score, and
Mhm.
yes, like Mickler points out, like my kids ask, "Who's winning?" Like that they want to know that they're winning. They don't
Yeah.
care that you know if they're losing, of course it hurts their feelings. But at the same time,
Yep.
it's like you gotta know. So like even my oldest, when he went from playing to no score to playing for a score, like you could just see his attitude changing. Like I want to play now. I want to fight hard. It really
Mhm.
does matter if I'm doing good,
Mhm.
And like that's the point. It's like you're taking away what the kids are working for, and like it's a society as a whole. Like no, like, and even at the end of the day too, it's like all you're doing is just setting them up for failure. So when they do actually fail, they have no way to cope with it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, because the world's not like that. You know, oh, we're everybody needs to get participation trophy. Yeah, but then at the end of the day, 10 years from now, they're participating, but they're still losing, and they ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna get a trophy then. Then they want to be upset about it,
I
like the
mean, it's
world
like,
owes them.
yeah, like one of the things. So kind of in my own personal experience, like when we would do upward flag football. I'm calling out upward flag football because generally churches are the ones who kind of create this thing. But even that, like even our churches have to an extent gotten soft in that, like we're not keeping score. It's like, but like, is that really beneficial? And in their minds it is, because it makes everybody want to participate and want to be there. But the problem is like, I, I this is probably just one of the places where I would disagree with that. Like, and I would say, like, I think it is about like scoring. It is about knowing how you're doing in this particular sport. But like, I know Gary Vee talks about it all the time, but it leads into like insecurities later on in life. It leads into entitlement later on in life, like everything's owed to you. But when you lose that job, or when you get yelled at by your boss, or when you get fired, well, that's losing the job. It's the same thing. Or when you don't get that promotion, or when you don't. I'm trying to think of like multiple different areas
You're doing the best you can. I will give
yeah,
you credit.
and so when those things happen, then you're not able to deal with it. You're not able to
Cope.
handle, right. And like, even one of the things too, I'll sit there and like there's discussion of like not giving out grades, not having grades for students, like so that way no one fails. Now I wouldn't say like that's a big thing. I think teachers need to do better about making each class be able to like, I think standardized testing is a challenge, but maybe it's not. Maybe the reason why people are so anxious about tests is because they don't know how to handle pressure. And this could very easily lead into that mental fortitude and needing that.
I know. I don't like taking tests. Like I hate taking tests. I dreaded them in college because of like at the end of the day, like you're telling me I have to take everything I've learned for the last couple weeks and apply it on a one test, and the only thing I've had to show for is like homework, which
Mm-hmm.
most of the homework don't ever match the test. You know, you could work the homework over and over and over again, think you have it down packed, then you get a test question, you're like, I have no idea what this is.
Well, and I think for you as an engine in engineering, I think that's like a more definitive thing. Like you should be able to like practice the things, like practice the things in homework, and then have similar things that are on the test.
Nowhere close to similar. They
Right.
hated us.
But the other deal of it, but you still kind of like, you deal with it, right? You
Right.
don't have like a breakdown of it. And so like now.
Right. There's no so like the my I don't know, one of the hardest teachers I had was like he's like my thought process was as long as you had a formula you could figure it out. And
Hmm.
his thought process is that's true, but if you understand what was going on, you can figure it out.
Mm,
Which isn't not true, but so for me, when I take a test, as long as I can remember the units and how they convert, like a unit measurement, like I could kind of force my way through it. I may not remember all the equations and stuff like that, but I know this and this and this multiplied by this gives me this unit of measurement at the end of it. So all that comes from is crossing everything out and then multiplying the right things together.
hmm.
Which you're all like, what? And that's the point. It's like units. Units helped me out a lot, honestly. Even though I hated them, I mean they, especially going from metric to standard and standard to metric. Oh my god, oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
But yeah, tests and all that, and even though I mean that's I don't know. You picked on one thing that's kind of not the same thing in my opinion. Not everybody's the same. So, but they give them all standardized tests. But at the same time, they want to sit there and make everybody the same and equal too, if that makes sense. So I guess it is the same thing. Like they want everybody to be equal, both test wise, both sports wise. Everybody's equal, but that's not the case. Some people are more gifted in baseball, and some people are more gifted at math. And
Yeah.
that's really a disservice to everybody as a whole, not
Yeah.
just men.
I mean, and the thing too is like just this idea of not being able to handle it, like, and not necessarily the whole like man up and just deal with it, but more so just actually like having had adversity at a younger age, and being a younger person and being able to have those difficulties and those issues, and ultimately, I mean, like even I don't know. I think part of it is parents, but that's just me. Like, I'm not being a parent, and at, like, in my mind, I really do hope that I can teach my children to be able to handle adversity, like to be able to try and fail. That's the biggest thing, is like, because like if everything you do you succeed at, or if everything you do you succeed, when we do quotations around the succeed, then when you get into life and you have some losses along the way, then what? Like how do you handle that? What do you do? And so wanting to get that taught early on in life, wanting to have those, I think what a lot of people do is they think that they're protecting their children from disappointment,
Well,
from
and I
tears.
mean they are right now, but down the road
Right.
it doesn't help nobody.
Yeah, no,
And
in all
actually,
honesty, it's not a protection, it's actually like screwing
a
them up for later
handicap,
on.
yeah,
Yeah,
handicap
it's
them.
yeah. So, why don't you take this inoculation section? I'm gonna let you play with that, and then we'll see about talking about that.
Yeah. So the way I understood it was, in line with us always giving out participation trophies, us having a generic test for everybody, you know, just trying to protect them as a whole. Well, growing up, to protect people, you got to introduce them to things that aren't really, not really to protect them, but to build up the immune. Okay, so back up. So Minkler talks about a vaccine. You get introduced to a vaccination, and that helps you build antibodies. That helps you fight off any future contact with a virus. Um,
Which,
and
mind you,
so
it's kind of funny that he does this in 2018, and then in 2020, COVID comes out, and we're even now having to deal with this idea of to be vaccinated or not, kind of stuff. But I digress. We won't touch that for a bit. Okay.
that being said, inoculation in the book, he's talking about the same thing. You build up antibodies. Well, if you never come into contact in an emotional sense, in a mental state or physical state of disappointment, rejection, uh, um, failing altogether, then when you come into contact down the road, like it's just going to destroy you, and that's exactly what he
Hmm.
states.
Okay.
You're sitting here preventing your kids. You're doing your kids a disservice. You're doing our men a disservice in the country and the world by sitting here saying, no, you don't have to be like this. No, there's no clear winner. And all you're doing is down the road, you're all like, hey, you know what? Even though you participated, you're still a loser at the end of the day,
Mm.
because that's all it is. That's all it is. The world's gonna chew you up, spit you out. And, it's just like with my kids, no, you lost that game. And you know what? Beat yourself up, but then there's the next game. You're
Hmm.
just gonna have to keep on going. Like my son, he gets so mad at his own mistakes. It's like, yeah, you made mistakes, but you learn from them. Don't beat yourself up about it. I understand it sucks, but that's life.
I think there's a point where, like, maybe beating yourself up to an extent is okay. Like in the sense of like where you're kind of reflecting on things that you could have done better, or things
Oh
that
yeah,
you
no, 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 no,
should have
no.
noticed.
Right, right. But there's a time. There's so long you do that. Don't beat yourself up so bad that you're just down the dumps that you don't want to pick yourself back up. Yes, you sucked tonight, son. Pick yourself up and let's do better the next time. That's what I'm
Yep.
saying. Like,
Yep.
don't wallow around in your self pity. It's almost to the point of like, you know, it's over with. Get over it. Move on.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I think okay. I think I understand this section a little bit better now, because I, for some reason, my brain just wasn't connecting with it, and now I'm like,
It's
oh, okay,
okay.
that makes sense. Yeah, getting that those viruses of like heartbreak and heartache, failure, rejection, setback, injury, and depression. Getting those viruses into your system so that you can create.
I know this one thing. Like nowadays, like, I won't say who, but there's a kid at school getting bullied, and not even bullied. Like I look at it as like a hazing. You're on a sports team. Like I went through it. You went. I don't know. Did you go through it in football?
I mean, I'm sure there were. I mean, I definitely got picked on a bit, but like it was, I don't really remember, to be honest. Like all I remember is that it was freaking hard to go through
Well,
practices and stuff like that.
there was your mama jokes, right? Of course,
Yeah, 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 yeah. That
Yeah.
happened.
So basic like I don't know, boys on boys talk and insults and stuff like that. And like, this one kid's getting this whole hounding and whatnot, and his mom jumps in and makes a big old scene and wants to sit there and cuss the kids or whatever. I was just like, all you're doing is you're weakening his position. Do
Mm,
I agree with what they're doing to him? Absolutely not. But at the same time, everybody's gone through that's been on a sports team.
mm,
Everybody's dealt with something like that. And the point is, like, the more you show that it upsets you, the more you have your mom step in and protect you, the worse it's going to get. It ain't
mm-hmm,
going to get better. It ain't going to be like, oh, well, your mama jumped in, so I'm going to leave you alone. No, I'm going to be like, hey, you can't fight your own battles. Your mama came in and fought for you. Like, that's how kids are. Like they smell weakness and they're like sharks. They smell blood and they're out to get you at that point.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think one of the interesting things though too in relationship to that is and kind of like leading into kind of like running towards adversity versus and running towards discomfort in this particular case, like where like you do have to be careful with, like, because there are bullies and there are people who
Oh
are,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
have issues internally themselves, but like you can hear, I mean, I'm sure everybody has some point of bullying that has happened, or where they've been picked on and stuff like that. But like one of the things, like in my mind, what I'm thinking is like, if God blesses me with a son or even with a daughter, I'm gonna be like, listen, out there the world sucks. Like there are people who are just jerks. There are people who are just out to just cause you pain and suffering. Not everybody. Most people are good, but there's a lot of there are still some bad people out there. And so in that case, like teaching the son or the daughter to be able to fight their battle, to be able to fight back. And I mean like,
Right.
because I remember and very distinctly remember this. There was a time where we were in Cherokee, Texas. We're not going to talk about how you fought back, but like when we were there were these two kids. I remember, and if they're listening, which I highly doubt, but if they are, it would be hilarious. There's this boy named Colt and his buddy named Ike. And I remember like they were the cool kids. And this was probably sixth grade, or no, it wasn't sixth grade. It wasn't that late. What grade was that? Fifth?
Third or
Fourth? Third or
fourth. It
something
was
like that?
fourth.
Yeah.
It was fourth.
And so was I in fourth and you were in second then?
Well, yeah, that's how that
Okay,
would have
okay.
worked.
Well, I mean, I was just making sure. So anyway, there were these kids, and they were like the cool kids in Texas. Like one of them, like would wear cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, and then the other one was just like, I don't know, just his buddy. And so I remember one time they had gotten into the bathroom, and like I was a chubby kid at the time, and was getting chubbier as it went along. But I remember they were like, they were picking on me, and they were saying stuff about me, and I was fine with it, like it wasn't really anything emotionally upsetting. I mean, we were just like fatso, tubbo, whatever you want to say. But then I remember they said something about our mom, and that just made me snap. And so for me, I didn't go running back to mom. Instead, I went and I grabbed one of these kids and I threw him up against the wall because, of course, being bigger than him, I could do this. Forget if it was, I think it was Colt, because Colt was like the slightly smaller one. And so I went
Yeah.
and I threw him up against the wall, and I basically told him, like, just, you better shut up. Like, that's it. And the thing is, if I remember, like, I distinctly remember this, and you could say it's a pivotal moment in my life where I'm standing up, not necessarily for myself, because again, I wasn't like emotionally hurt. I wasn't told all my life, "Oh, you're perfect, you're the best, you're the greatest."
Yeah, because we were told already from family members we weren't the smallest kids ever, so like it never really hurt our feelings, you know.
Mm.
Like even
But I mean,
now,
I think there's a
if
point where,
someone
but
calls me fat, it's like, oh, okay, and
yeah,
like, what's your point? Like,
yeah. I mean, like, sure, there are certain words that I don't like hearing. Like there was one like we would use with each other. We would call each other
bald.
stupid idiot. No, bald is fine. I'll take that. I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm comfortable with
Oh,
that.
my kids call each other that so many times, and it irritates
Really?
the piss out of me. Oh
Yeah.
man, like
But
I get so upset when my kids pick on each other. Like it's crazy how upset I get about it. Like, cause it's
bro,
like
you got to understand though. You and I did that. You and
I
I would
know,
pick
but
on
I
each other
still
all
get
the
upset
time.
about it.
I mean,
But
but the thing
I
is like
get
I was bullying you as the older brother does. I was being mean to you. I was saying all these things. And what did you do?
I punched you a couple times.
Right. Now, that quickly made me stop. I was like, "Oh, he knows how to fight." Now, granted, like we would fight like cats and dogs, but like and here's the thing. Again, not sure how all three of them are working it out and stuff, but the thing is with us, it was always like you and I fight, but if anybody picks on you or anybody picks on me, you got the Briquette Bros going after each other,
Oh no, no,
or not after each other, but after
you
you.
never expect it. So I try. So like if I'm beating up one of them, one will usually try and be on my side to beat
Mm-hmm.
him up. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Ain't nobody on my side. I
Right.
slap him too. So then like I'm not expecting it. I'm beating one of them up, and they'll be yelling, and then here comes the brother out of nowhere. Jump kicked me in the back, and I'm like, oh really? Like okay, all right, let's fight. It's like
There's gonna come a
kind of like
time, bro, where he
I'm
jump kicks you in the
happy.
back. You're gonna like pull your back, and you're like, "Oh no, I can't do it
What do you mean? That's a timeout. Like they're half my size almost. Like,
anymore."
like one of them weighs more than the older one. It's like they kill me right now. Like
but yeah, I think that biggest thing is kind of instilling that early on to go towards adversity, to go and fight. Don't necessarily go run away from it and go and get the help. I mean, obviously, and I think right now, like one of the challenges that we're gonna have is like being able to teach, like, when do you need to go and get help versus when do you need to stand up for yourself? Because I think that's a question that needs to come up. Like, at what point in time, and I don't know if you have an answer for this because I don't, but like, at what point in time do you need to tell your sons, hey, this is when you fight back for yourself? Because I think I remember Dad telling us, like, if someone, I think it was like something like, if you get kicked in the balls, whether it's a boy or girl, you go and you fight. Oh, okay, cool. Now, I think it was more like you got to be more gentle with the girls as far as fighting them, and you need to be like incredibly violent when you're fighting the boy to make sure that that boy understands you don't get to do that to me. Like, that's
I don't know
disrespectful.
so much. I don't know so much that my boys get like they don't come home and tell me they get picked on at all. Like
Maybe they're
my
the ones
biggest
doing the
thing.
picking on.
My biggest thing is one of them having long hair is like some kids might confuse and be like, oh well, that girl right there said something. I was like, first off, he's a boy. That's more or less just because he's got long hair. Of course, that's not upsetting.
Yeah.
But I think it's more or less like with my kids. I tell them, if there's bodily danger, like they'll attack each other like crazy. Like they'll try and kill each other, but then when someone outside of the house does something to them, they're not willing to fight. You know,
Oh, okay.
it's like why? Like y'all are so quick to kill your brothers. You know, you should be more than willing to kill somebody else for yourself.
Yeah. I
But
mean
I
that.
guess it's more or less it goes back to the whole thing of like I think you're harder on your family than you are on strangers. You know.
I mean, to an extent, like in like a I don't know. I guess in like a judgment kind of way, or in a like I'm gonna watch what you do, and then I'm gonna be harder on you, or I'm gonna yell at you, or be angry at you. Versus if somebody does kind of the same thing, like if somebody makes a mistake outside, you'll be more forgiving towards them. But like there was always, I mean, you always knew like if you mess with one of us, you or me. If you mess with one of us, you got both of us. Like that was the thing. Is like we were constantly like that, and I think that that's a huge thing as far as like kind of like learning how to deal with adversity, learning how to like one of the things is like I got no problem admitting like I realize if we're in like a wrestling match or if we're in like a knockout drag out fight, I'm pretty sure you're gonna kick my butt. Almost positive. Like, and you know what? I just know I can get you on other things. Like that's fine. You know what? Physical? Huh? I'm good. I'm good. Don't need that. Don't need that. I'm good. I'm good. But when it comes to like English words, I got you. I got you.
I
You know,
knew you were gonna. I knew that was coming up. Like I already
when it
knew.
comes to
Like
engineering,
English,
not my business. When it comes to math,
English
not my
words.
business. But when it comes to creativity, bro, I got you. I got you. And so like there are certain things like it, but again, I think that's a big part of it is like learning what are you good at? What can you do? Can you get better at certain things? Like, yeah, sure, I could go get a workout and I could go learn how to fight and stuff like that and get better than you. Absolutely. But am I willing to do that? Do I need to do that? If I want to beat you in that realm, then yeah, I need to go do that. But I'm okay where I'm at right now. Like I don't need to beat you in a physical match or
Right.
anything like that.
Like it doesn't change anything. Like that's back to alpha thing. Like me trying to be better, faster, stronger.
Mm-hmm.
While yes, I feel like being strong is helpful. It doesn't change the fact that I'm a man and I have other aspects that I'm better at than any other man. You know, it's like play to your strengths. The good thing I like about an engineering degree is and I don't know if I've told you this. It's like I'm an engineer now, but what am I? What do I want to do? Like that's still a question. Like even though
Mm-hmm.
you have that degree, like there's so many fields I can get into now.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like and that's what I'm saying. There's not just one kind of man. You know, there's men, and then there's men, and then there's men, and then there's something like that looks like a man, but it's not. Was used to be a woman, wants to be a
Mm-hmm.
man. All those different things. You're like, I went there. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm not politically correct at all. But the point is like, you know, there's men, and they come in all varieties, and all we're doing is a disservice by trying to say they're all equal because they're not. You
Mm.
are not the same as me, and like you just said, I'm not saying I would beat you up, but chances are, given our last few run-ins with my fist in your face,
Bro,
you have.
that was like 20 years ago, man. It was like
Does it matter?
almost
Doesn't matter. Doesn't
30
matter.
years ago, bro.
It was
Almost
like
30 years ago.
the
Almost
last
30 years
time.
ago.
No, no, hear me out. The last
All
time I
right.
punched you was in
Yeah.
Chattanooga. That was
For
not
what?
30 years ago.
What did you
I
punch me for?
You were annoying the piss out of me about something. You were just tapping me on the shoulder, just annoying the piss out of me, and I turned around and punched you.
Either you punched me so good I don't remember, or more likely it was like a little like love tap, and I was like, oh,
Ask
that's
your mother
nice.
about it next time. Ask your mother. Next time you talk to
I'll
her,
talk to
ask
her.
your
I'm
mother.
like, Mom, do you remember Andrew punching me? She'd be like, Yeah, you were knocked out cold. We had to take you to the hospital, make sure your brain was okay. I was like, Oh, okay, I don't remember that. She's
No,
like,
it wasn't
Exactly.
that bad. Oh my god, it
But
wasn't that bad.
so let's get into the mental fortitude.
But
Okay,
the point is
go ahead.
so what I was trying to say is like yes, there's different aspects of it, and like you're saying right here, you're about to jump into, you know, run into adversity, not everybody's going to run to it. Not every man's going to do that. Even if you train them to do that, there's still some hesitation. There's still people that are like, I know I'm not good with that. I'm not gonna fight. It's like, and that's what the other thing is like, the mental aspect of it. If we're not training men or boys to be ready for that kind of sort of thing, then when the time comes, they're gonna fail. They're gonna fail.
What are some of your discomforts? Because and I'll give you some time to think about it because I don't know if you've actually kind of figured that. But what are some adversities or some things that you should be running toward? Because for me, mine, I've basically
Marriage
is a discomfort. Maybe I don't know if marriage is a discomfort.
commitment.
So, I don't know. I
Your
don't think
notes right there say it
I
all.
would say
Committing to something that is difficult and following through with it.
no,
Yep.
okay. To an extent, yes, I could go with that. But the problem is too, I don't think you have a problem committing to things that are difficult and following through with it. I think you've got because there are plenty of things. I mean, think about it. You just got out of doing three different things at the same time. One, having a family, which takes time and energy. Two, working a full-time job, not just a full-time job. And three, at the same time, all three of these at the same time, finishing your degree. That takes a mental fortitude. Now, would I have done that? Heck no. Ain't no way. But the fact that you did that, and I don't know, the amount of sleep that you didn't get, that you lost in that time, I would never suggest doing that. I think everybody needs at least 6.5, 7 hours of sleep. But that the mental fortitude that you had in order to be able to complete that's stuff, committing to things that are difficult. That's definitely difficult. Now, going back to this idea of your marriage and stuff like that, yes, there are challenging things, but also there is that need for wisdom as well, to be able to discern, or discernment, to be able to figure out, is this
So let me put it a different way. It's
all right?
not so much, I put just a broad term on it. It's pulling up the discomfort, the discomforting, the uncomfortable things in those relationships. Talking about them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the greatest when it comes to emotions. I'll express how I feel,
Mm-hmm.
and if I get brushed off, I'm not going to share how I feel anymore. That's just clearly nobody cares. So why would I
Yeah.
keep on talking about it? And at the same point, is I'm the same way, kind of back towards me. If I hear you, I say I understand. That should be the end of it, not keep talking about it. It's just I don't know how to explain it, but it's I feel like I process things quicker, don't get so caught up on it. If something hurts my feelings a lot, you know, but I'll tell you how I feel about it, and I'm done. That's it. I want to process by myself. You know, if you tell me how you feel about it, I'm kind of like the person who's like, okay, we should be done. You told me I'm good now, or you should
Mm-hmm.
be good too. And
Mm-hmm.
most people aren't like that. That's
So
what
you
I've
mean
been
as
taught.
far as the discomfort of being able to figure out how to.
Adapting to other people. I'm not very good at adapting to other people.
Okay, yeah. And so yeah, I mean that, and he does talk about working toward that, and moving toward that adversity, instead of just tucking it away and pretending like it's not there, or running away from it completely. And so one of the big things too is for me, my discomforts, I got I don't know, 75 of them that I've written down here. Number one, exercise. That is a
that's
discomfort hardcore for me.
that's
Discomfort.
not discomfort. That's just you're lazy.
No, but I mean, but even being lazy, I think, is a discomfort. It's more comfortable to be lazy. So the discomfort is not being lazy. It's oh man, I can't be lazy anymore. Food is it preparing food or not eating candies or sweets. That's a discomfort for me. I love being able. less YouTube. That's a discomfort. I love sitting down, or even like less movies and TV shows and YouTube videos. Like less of those is not comfortable for me. Like I enjoy sitting down, having my popcorn, or having my I don't really do ice cream, just having candy like chocolate, like having those and like just instead of like learning new skills, learning how to edit, learning how to podcast better, learning how to teach better, learning how to write better, learning how to read better, having difficult
So,
conversations even.
so my job I work at now, as a design engineer,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Does,
being
is, is that
a
what it's called?
design engineer.
Is that the name of it or the
Yeah,
official?
it's a design
Is
engineer.
that like in mechanical engineering or is that in like not? It's not
I
civil engineering.
mean,
Or
it could be. It
I
could
mean,
There could
yeah.
be an
Okay. Okay.
architectural aspect of it,
Okay.
construction.
Okay.
Um, yes and no. How about that?
Okay. Cool.
Uh,
In your design engineering.
so if he sees this video, it's gonna be so funny. So there's another employee that works there. We both graduated at the same exact time, and
Mm-hmm.
this man's over here. He's taking his laptop home every night. He works 5 or 6 hours at home, 20 plus hours on the weekend, doing this,
Mm-hmm.
doing that, pouring heart and soul into this program he's trying to create. And so our like mentor boss comes over. He's like, such and such is making you look bad. He's like, are you going to start taking your laptop home and doing work? I was like, well, I mean, I can take my laptop home, but if you want me to be honest with you, I'm never going to open it. So, so, like, there's no point. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
if he's taking it home to get the work done, I'm just completing my work here before I even need to go home. He's like,
Yeah.
wow. He's like, I'm not saying you have to take it home. I was just giving you a hard time. And it's like, I'm just being honest. That's what I expect. That's what I'll give. I'll take my laptop home, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and not spend time with my family
Right.
and work. Just not going to do that. That's what works for me
Yeah.
being at work. And if you need, I told him straight up, I was like, if you need me to work on a Saturday, schedule me on a Saturday. I'll come in and work. But if you expect me to take my laptop home and work on a Saturday, I guarantee it's not going to happen.
Yeah. 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 And I think that's definitely something. I'm not sure how does that fit into the discomfort. Bring that around.
Um, no, it's not discomfort. It's just
Hmm.
playing into your strengths and you know honestly, like for me it's like someone might be like, oh, I'll take my laptop home and I'll start working. No, like I'm telling you right now, like I'll take it home, but whether or not I do work, there's no discomfort in me telling them that. It's more or
Yeah.
less playing to your roles. My roles are, I will show up every day, I'll bust my butt while I'm here. I don't even like taking lunch breaks, honestly, because like I feel like it just cuts into the middle of the workload. The only reason I take it is because you say I have to.
I think it's legally required by law there to
Well,
that you
no,
got to
I
have a
mean,
break.
technically it is. Technically, it is required by law to have a break in there. At the same time, I would just assume work 8 hours straight through and just go home and not take a lunch break. We'll call my lunch break the last hour when I'm going home.
And that well, I mean, but I think the law is like you can't work more than 4 or 5 hours without
It's
some kind of break.
six. It's
6 hours?
6 hours.
Okay. Okay.
Six. So
Sorry, this
I
is
get
this is
up.
six in Chinese. Sorry, that's I
I
need
get up.
six.
I get up and I walk to the coffee room and I get coffee
Mm-hmm.
and then I walk back. And then during lunch break, I read a book.
Hmm. This book. We
Yes.
read this book. This book. Yeah.
I do. I read that book. I read, some Bibles once in a while. I read FE exam book literature. I read. I
FE
watch.
exam.
Yes, Fundamentals of Engineering exam.
Oh. Okay. That I don't think is that called literature. Did you just call that literature? I
I
don't think that.
mean,
As a literature teacher, I don't think that
hold up.
classifies as literature.
What does literature mean? Define it.
Literature. So generally, when you're talking about literature, you're talking more about like novels. You're talking more about poetry. You're talking more about short stories, those types of things. Literature, like if
First,
it's a
first two words, written works. That's it.
you okay. Let's do that. Okay, let's bust that out because I know what you're doing. You're just written work that works for me. Let's see. Let's do vocabulary. Definition. I don't know how to spell definition. Apparently,
Okay,
literature
so the
definition.
whole definition is
Oh,
written works.
written works, especially those considered of superior or lasting artistic merit. So yeah,
I would say that that's the literature.
you would say that
Books
what
and writings published on a particular subject. Yes.
okay. You're looking at the second one. Literature on environmental epidemiology. Okay, I guess. Okay. I'll take it.
Uh, looks like I'm mastering more and more stuff every day.
Well, I mean, you definitely need to work on that for
Hey,
sure.
let's take a break real
Anyway,
quick. Pause
all
real
right,
quick.
pausing.
Pause real
All right, so getting into those three aspects: the mental fortitude, the emotional resiliency, and the physical strength. So, with the mental fortitude, basically, it's this idea of committing to something that is difficult and then following through with it. Is you're going to do something difficult and you're going to just fight through it. And the reason why this is beneficial and the reason why this is good is mainly due to the fact that you get over there's a barrier inside your head that makes you weaker. Like you don't you're naturally drawn away from pain, but sometimes what that means, whether you're lifting weights, whether you're running, whether you're working a very difficult job, whether you're trying to get a particular promotion, doing the difficult things makes you like when you say, you know what, I'm chosen to do this and I'm gonna stick with it. With that, you've created this I don't know, this mental giant in your mind where your brain has more control over your physical
I
issues
believe it's
or
called
your
a mental block.
actually and to kind of go off of this, I actually distinctly remember one of the major mental fortitude moments that I had was going on a 7-day fast where all I got to drink was good old water. And so I remember like 3 or 4 days into it, like my body telling me like we can't do this, like don't do this, like this is bad, like we gotta quit, we gotta give up, we can't handle it. And I remember pushing myself through that up until the seventh day. Like I remember the most pain, the most difficulty that I had was either the third or the fourth day. Um, I had a headache, but that was mainly because I had cut coffee completely instead of like dwindling off of it. And also, I was hungry. And I remember that was the most challenging day. But once I pushed through that, day 5, 6, and 7 were actually relatively easy. But it was getting over that mental hurdle of like, I can't do this. And so that for me was like a huge mental fortitude, knowing that I could get there, knowing that I can get to that level. And to be honest, I haven't done that again, but that's where something that like it's where you've got to do it. I've got to do it. Right?
Right.
So how about you take emotional resiliency? You want to read that section?
Let's see. Emotions are indicators of things that are working well. How I would word that for myself. I saw something there. He said, what was it? First and foremost, look, life is tough. He says mental fortitude is just as important as emotional resiliency. Life is tough. You're going to lose. You're going to fail. People are going to treat you unfairly. Like you said, at times you're going to be dealt an unfair hand. I guess the one thing to point out is like we will all fail, right? The point is, it's like, what do you do after that failure?
Yep.
Do you Do you, like I was talking about earlier with my kids, do you just wallow in your self pity, or hey, you know what, you know you did something wrong, or you did something, you could have done everything right, and it's just you got outplayed and outsmarted by another team, or you know you got fooled by whatever happened, or somebody performed better. It's not all your fault, but at the same time, is there steps that you can take that you could have been better? Yes. So knowing when to not just allow your emotions to have control, but also when to step out of those emotions. Hey, you know what? I'm done. It's over with. Wipe my hands of it. Let's move on.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
there's a lot of times where it's like, I mean, it's almost, you know, that's funny. I just read this part. The one comment's like, bite the bullet. Swallow your pride. Emotions is a lot of it's built on your pride. Your pride got hurt. You thought you were better than what was going to happen, and you know, I know I have some resiliency, and I have a lot of not so good resiliency when it comes to my pride. I mean, it's just
Mm-hmm.
every man's built that way. Every man gets upset. Every man has a bad day, and how you react to those days is, what your
Yeah.
emotional resiliency is, basically.
Right. And also this idea that like if somebody says something to you or you get a bad shake, like you get passed up for a promotion or you get passed up for like the referees called the wrong foul or called a penalty that shouldn't have happened, those types of things
Didn't
where
call face mask that should have been called.
or called a pass interference that shouldn't have been called. But
Oh, I
like
don't know about that one. That
but like
one.
all these different like possibilities of like just how do you handle that emotionally. Like yes, you have that mental fortitude to get over that and be like, you know what, okay, that's fine, whatever, but being able to be in control of your emotions as well. And then he talks about physical strength. You okay, you good to go, move on? You have anything
Yeah,
you want
no,
to say?
no,
Okay,
no.
okay, good.
Well, I mean, I could say a lot more on it. I was just thinking, you said something about promotions. There was one place. It was like, you know, adversity. It kind of ties all together. Your emotional response or resiliency, your mental fortitude. Adversity, how much you charge towards it. So, like, you know, I was applying for different positions at my last job. I applied, and like, all these I wouldn't say excuses came up, but all these like comments were made, like, this was said, or you weren't this, or you weren't that. I called. I was like, no, that's BS. No, that's crap. No, that's this. And so, like, I'll admit, like at my last job, it was horrible. I got passed over a lot for positions, but I still worked there.
Mm-hmm,
I still have a job there. I still have something to do there. It's like this one guy came up to me one day, and shoot, I don't know, he had worked there like 3 months maybe. I didn't even know the guy, right?
mm-hmm.
And we were just talking. Like, he said something. He's like, "Well, that's business for you." I was like, "Hold up." I was like, "You've been here 3 months. I've been here 10 years." I said, "You haven't even begun to see how bad this place could be to you." I was like, "You have no right to say that. Don't ever say that to me again." And it's kind of like, it was like a pride thing, but also like you ain't been here long enough to claim that alma mater, to be all like, "Hey, oh, well, it's, I know I just said it. It's such and such a company, but don't say it to me again. Like, you have no idea what I've been through, what I've been passed over." It's like that was that emotional resilience. That was my
Yeah,
response to that. But
yeah. And
moving
then
on, physical strength.
physical strength. So in his book, Mickler says like basically good physical health equals your better ability to produce in other areas. Like not just being physically fit and being healthier, but creating that ability mentally, but also being better at your work, being better rested when you get up, being better able to take care of your family, being better able to spend time with your family, having all of these physical aspects. Now, to be honest, Andrew and I are not necessarily the ones best suited to tell you about physical fitness. Like we're working on
Oh,
it,
no, 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 no,
but
no. Hold up,
go
hold up,
ahead,
hold
go
up.
ahead, go ahead, Mister. Go ahead.
I would say we have a lot of knowledge on weight loss, what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
We just don't practice it a lot.
Yeah, and the thing is like it's not going to be like a fluky like, oh, okay, like because it is actually interesting. It's funny to sit there and think about like this idea of ease, and that's another thing that kind of like gets into that strength thing where adversity comes up. We, especially in our society, we want the easy path. We want it to be easy, and so for us, like the challenge is like it's a very simple process. Eat better, like whether that's less portions or less sweets or less or sorry fewer sweets because that's actually the correct English apparently. Fewer sweets or better foods and exercise. Those are the two things that it takes. But both of them are incredibly difficult. And so we would love to have like a magic pill that makes us lose weight instantly. But
So I got told by Dad the other day. He'd be like, "Hey man, you gained some weight back, haven't you?" It's like, wow. I was like, yes, I probably have. I was like, I wouldn't say so much I've gained weight back. I said what probably happened was I quit doing my exercise regimen. I quit
uh-huh.
taking all the supplements I was taking, and so I've probably just leaned down a little bit instead of leaning up. Like
Yeah,
so there for a little bit I was taking like creatine. I was going to the gym every day, lifting weights. I was
right.
actually there for a little bit over the summer. I was doing 2 workout regimens. I go to the gym and lift weights, and I go do jujitsu for 2 hours after that. I mean,
Yeah.
you're bound to thin up and gain some muscle real quick when you start lifting weights and then fighting other men too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like um, that being said, I wouldn't say I had more energy, but just 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 how you felt at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
not so much. I mean, I was exhausted. Don't get me wrong, and I
Right.
was super tired, super like, oh my god, why do I do this to myself? But like at the same time, it's like that whole like stepping back out onto the mat, like from my wrestling days, and now it's like just throwing myself around, like lifting weights. You start to like, man, like I feel good, I look good. Uh, I'm still working on the emotional parts of things, but yeah, like it's not just being able to do it; it's also like how it helps you. I mean, it's like he says, you produce in other areas. It makes you feel
Mm-hmm.
good about yourself that you're
Mm-hmm.
more, I don't know, more self sufficient, more prideful, more able to do what you need to do on a day to day basis.
Right. Right. And the thing is like too, like yeah, like I right now I'm working out with a coach, and the thing is like it's not. I remember
Oh,
kind of.
you are working out?
Yeah. I got classes 3 times a week. Actually, in a few hours, I'm gonna be going off, or I guess actually in an hour. But I've I remember doing CrossFit and being healthy and being great, like feeling great about myself and being thinner, and it was amazing. It was wonderful. But then when I got back to China, it just all went out the window, and I just kind of fell back into the same old routine and the same old habits, and so I kind of like lost that whole like mental fortitude, and I wanted things that were easier and stuff like that. And I think I lied to myself and said, "Oh, the reason why I'm letting myself go is because China's difficult. There are more difficult things here and whatnot." And I mean, it was just straight up BS. I mean, it was nothing. And so that's kind of the issue is needing to be able to fight through that. So um, getting into this, so finishing up, wrapping it up, the mindset. Okay,
I'll
getting
take
this
this
idea of
one.
the mindset. Okay, go ahead.
Um, so it's kind of funny. He points out that, as a species, the mindset was in the old days, the easier route was the best way to go. That was what kept you alive, to take the easy route. But even then, the easy route wasn't easy. It was still a
Mm-hmm.
hard, treacherous road. Where now it's so like the easy route is kind of almost like what's killing us because we're not exercising. It's easier not to go exercise. You don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to not eat better. You don't need to. It's easier not to be emotionally available because I can be on my phone all day and not be emotional. It's easier not to be mentally strong because it's excuses, and it's easier nowadays to be um, lazy, and back then easy route wasn't the same thing. So it's kind of like we've come full circle. Now you almost have to take the hard route to be the person you're meant to be a
Mm-hmm.
strong, challenged, independent, mentally strong, emotionally strong man. I will admit, like for me, like now that I graduated and now that I have a job, it's like I know I done fallen off the bandwagon about working out, and I need to get back on it because it's just like once again, it's the mindset. It's oh my god, like I don't have time to do that, and it's just more or
Yep.
less I've gotten lazy and I've enjoyed my sleep again. I've been going
Mm-hmm.
without
Mm-hmm.
sleep for so long. I started sleeping again. It's like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And not saying that sleep is a barrier. So the mindset is that I'm mentally tough, emotionally resilient, and physically strong. But then he gets into those skill sets of like the two things: one, making the hard path the easy path, and then resetting the default. So making the hard path the easy path is not saying
Removing
that.
removing the easy way.
Well, not no 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 not necessarily removing the easy way, but removing the walls or the barriers that make you want to go the easy way. Like for instance, one of the things that I've done is like I've put my phone across the room to wake me up. Now the problem is like I'll wake up, I'll walk over, I'll grab the phone, unplug it, and then go lay back down and like just hit the snooze button often. And the thing is like, but like even before that, like one of my barriers is like getting to bed early or getting to bed like on time. It's very easy for me to stay up watching videos, movies, TV shows, those types of things where I need to actually be working on getting to bed earlier. Another barrier is like with my food. Yeah, it's very easy for me to just get stuff, go out and or to just go out and eat or go out and just get whatever food is available outside. But generally, that's either like highly processed or it's just highly oiled or highly just unhealthy. And the difficult part, the barrier, is the food. And so one of the ways of me removing it is food prepping, like getting food prepped. And that's one of the things going back to my CrossFit days where I was working out 3 times a week and eating better. I literally would meal prep beforehand, like a week before. And like
You
so
did
the Sunday
CrossFit.
I did. It was a lighter version of CrossFit, not like hardcore version of CrossFit, but it was a lighter version of it. And so that was basically what was helping me out. And so for me, the one of the barriers was doing the meal prepping. Like if I meal prep ahead of time, if I do it on Sunday, get everything ready, like I'm going to do today. Well, today's Monday on my side, and so today, but I start work tomorrow, and so meal prepping for lunch because my lunch is going to be at the office, and so meal prepping, getting the food ready. That way, I have no excuse about what I'm eating. Another one is like getting up earlier or going and working out. Like the hard path is going to work out, going and doing the exercise. That's just but like I would say like right now even like I can't really make any excuses right now. But like one of the things is like for me thinking about in the future when I get back to work, making sure that like why not just go directly from work and then go to the gym, work out, and then come home instead of go from school to my home and then try and go work out later. Like those are things that like yeah, getting up early in the morning is difficult and it's going to be a challenge. So maybe instead of having that be like, oh well, since I can't get up early, I can't work out. Instead of that, it's like why not just work out at the end of the day?
So my biggest one is like, I stopped doing jujitsu because like my
Mm-hmm.
neck has been killing me for, ever since I started. Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, And I need to see a chiropractor. That's worth the darn because the one I've been seeing sucks, I think.
Well,
But not just that, but like even where I work now has a gym, and it's like I don't really want to go to work and work out. Like I want to work out in the morning,
right.
honestly, because like I feel better when I work out in the morning. But I don't want to be sweaty all day because I don't have a gym or a shower, So
Yeah.
working out in the evening, I was like, well, that's good and all, but half the time I'm running back to the house to get the kids picked up from school. Like they always get out of
So
that.
the gym doesn't have a shower?
No, it's a work. It's work. It doesn't have a shower.
But does the gym have a shower where you work out?
The gym is in work. Work doesn't have a shower.
Oh, okay, okay.
There you go. Now we're good.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that being said,
How long of a lunch
I
break
guess
do you
just
get?
I get long enough,
Okay.
but it's a sweaty thing. No. I
Hey.
mean, what I do for lunch break, and I'll admit it's one or the other. I'll sit there and read the book, the
Mm-hmm.
sovereignty book, read
Mm-hmm.
my study time because I know I'm probably not going to study when I get to the house either.
Okay.
So it's more or less, yes, I need to pick a time to just stay and do the gym,
Yep. Yep.
get back on the bandwagon.
Yeah. So the second skill set is reset the default. I mean, for Andrew and I, like the biggest thing is the whole weight thing. Like that's probably the biggest thing that we're trying to tackle right now is the physical strength. Because I feel like mental fortitude for the most part we're pretty good. The emotional resiliency to an
Mm,
extent we're okay. But like the
mm.
biggest one out of this is definitely the physical strength. Not even necessarily physical strength. It's just healthier, just being healthier. But he talks about the second skill set is resetting the default, meaning choosing whatever is the hardest versus whatever is the easiest. And like there are times like for me, like I'll tell you, like for instance, last night I definitely didn't choose the hardest, and I should have absolutely done it. I mean, it would have been. It's just. I mean, yeah, it's laziness is just what kills me. But like, or like wanting to come home and relax, quote unquote, relax. And the thing is like, and I know, like yesterday when I was leaving, I went with my wife to her work, and I stayed there for a bit, and then coming home, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start working on getting better at editing. I'm gonna learn better skills about editing, and I'm gonna try and figure all of this out. That way, it's just all around better. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna do something that is more than just watching YouTube videos. But then got home, and instead of being like, you know what, I embrace the challenge. I'm gonna choose the hardest thing. I was like, nope. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna just watch videos. So I ended up
So, so,
wasting
so
hours.
something that I might be able to help you with is like,
Okay.
for me, when I get home, I agree. I understand what you're saying. Like, I understand 100%. Like, it's so much easier just to not do anything. So, what I do is if I need to do something when I get home, I don't take my shoes off. And I know it's a different thing over there. I know take your
Yeah.
shoes off, but
Yeah.
for me here, it's like if I don't take my shoes off, if I don't get home and get comfortable, don't sit on the couch, just get straight to what I need to be doing. I'm still in the mindset of I need to be working.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that's the point. Like it's kind of like tricking your brain almost. Like, and I don't know if this will
It's
help you or
getting
not, or
rid
if
of the
there's some
barriers.
right. There's something like, you know, my shoes are off. Oh my god, that feels so good. Now I'm gonna sit down on the couch. Well, my shoes are still on. I still like, and it really does feel like that. I'll sit down on the couch. If my shoes are on, I feel like I need to get up and do something.
Yeah.
Like it's weird how it works, but 100% getting rid of the barriers and like just fighting through your own obstacle course of your brain.
Yep. Yep. Well, I would definitely. I can't do the whole shoe thing because here in China, generally, when you're walking around, you could be walking in dog crap or urine or somebody else's crap or urine. Not crap. Not saying that, but like just
No,
the
no, you're
streets
saying
aren't
it.
the
You're
streets
saying
aren't
it. We all think that.
necessarily. No.
We all think
Like
that.
the streets are just not necessarily like very clean here, and sidewalks aren't necessarily very clean, so you're not sure what exactly you've been walking in, and so making sure that you don't drag that into the house. That's one of the bigger things. But I need to figure. Actually, let me think about this. I think the first thing that I need to do is when I get home, because generally like after work, like the first thing I do is I get home and then I open my computer up and I sit down and I start like watching the videos. I think what I need to do is like once I get home, maybe actually just give myself a moment to kind of like relax and take it
Yeah.
easy. If I haven't gone to the gym, even if I've gone to the gym, like coming back, just sit down, kind of relax, take some time to just kind of like be okay with the relaxation that I get, and then maybe like crack open a book that I need to read, whether it's Sovereignty or some other book. I mean, I got 100,000 books, not really 100,000, but I've got lots of books, hundreds of books that I could sit down and read that will be beneficial for me and for my life. And just being able to sit down and read that for a time, that way I get my mind into that idea of, okay, this is leading into putting down the barriers and then making sure that that's resetting the default. Or it could be just meal prepping for the next day, like because it's still kind of like a work that I've got to do.
Right.
So cool.
That's it.
If you're listening on your favorite podcast provider, please leave a comment, leave a review, subscribe. We are going to be, again, doing this every week, Lord willing, and things don't get too chaotic. If you're on YouTube, click the bell, click the subscribe, and then click the bell. Give us a like, leave us a comment in the bottom. We're going to have on the screen, you'll see the Sovereignty set, and you'll see the previous video we did on Chapter 11. Yeah, I'm Nick.
I'm Andrew.
And as always, you have an open invitation to our conversation.
That's good. I like that.